Hello, and thanks for joining us for Prepped and Polished Education and Inspiration. I'm your host, Alexis Avila, educator, online entrepreneur, and founder of tutoring test prep firm Prepped and Polished. We're broadcasting today from South Natick, Massachusetts. And the Education and Inspiration podcast is your destination for groundbreaking insight from today's most influential educators, leaders, and minds on the planet. And today, our show is brought to you by Plan for College Videos. Nationally known college planning expert Paul Hemphill has a wonderful series of college planning videos, over 100 of them, and his videos ask all the questions with answers that parents don't know to ask. Parents don't know what they don't know, but the frustration ends with his videos. To learn more about that, www.planning-for-college.com/videos. And get to know the Prepped and Polished community. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter. Just type Prepped and Polished. And thank you to everyone for tuning in today. Joining our show today is college freshman Sierra Weiss. As only a high school senior, Sierra founded Dance for Empowerment, an award-winning nonprofit organization which helps children with disabilities improve their self-esteem, social integration, and cognitive awareness through dance. In 2014, Sierra was named NBA Boston Celtics Hero Among Us, and her program Dance for Empowerment was recently featured on NBC's Channel 7 Boston as part of their Class Act segment. If you have a question at any time, please email radio@preppedandpolished.com. We always appreciate hearing from you. Sierra Weiss, thank you so much for joining us today on Education Inspiration. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Our pleasure. So, so as we were trying to schedule the interview, you had a pretty busy schedule as of late. You said you were busy moving into your first year of college. Where are you now, and how's it going?
I am at Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia,
Nice.
and it is going really well. I love the school. It's really nice weather. It's still nice and warm and sunny here. I know it's been a little cooler in the Northeast.
Yeah.
And I got my first pick on all my classes, so everything is going really well.
Fantastic. So tell us just a little bit about your background, where you come from. And also, a lot of our listeners are teens, so they sometimes like to see what you're like as a teen.
Okay. So I am from Newton, Massachusetts, which is a suburb of Boston. I went to Gann Academy, which is a Jewish private school in Waltham, Mass., where I had dual curriculum. So I was learning, the typical 4 courses that pretty much all high school students take, and then also additionally my Judaics classes. So it was a bit of a heavy load, which has helped prepare me for college in many ways. So throughout my time in high school, I've always been very motivated. I kind of had to deal with all the work I was getting, but I had a really great experience, very sociable, spent a lot of time with my family and friends. I was a dancer all through high school and in some of middle school, so that was really my point of release, to just let go of my stress and to get at some energy every week. And I had a really nice time, and I'm excited to be on this next step of my education journey, and I'm definitely feeling prepared from my background.
Nice. And who are some of your influences?
Well, my parents have always been a big influence in my life. We lived in Vermont for a few years, and then my parents moved me to Boston so I could get, my sister and I could get a really good Jewish education. So they've always been very important role models to me. And then some role models in the realm that I work on with Dance for Empowerment. Representative Kate Kahn, who is the representative of Newton in the State House. She has been a huge role model to me. I interned in her office actually for the past 2 summers. So she sits on the committee for children, family, and people with disabilities. So I've learned a lot from her. Also, Jay Ruderman, who is the president of the Ritterman Family Foundation, which is a Jewish organization that helps fund and create programs that foster the inclusion of people with disabilities. I also interned for that foundation. So Jay and other members of his office have been huge role models to me over the past few years.
Well, that's amazing. Some family and some in politics and a little bit everywhere.
Yes.
Can you tell us what brought focus on a couple pivotal moments that brought you here to chat with us today, where you're a founder and director of an amazing program, Dance for Empowerment?
Okay. Well, I first had my first experience working with people with disabilities at the sleepaway camp I went to. It's called Camp Vermont, New England. It's in Palmer, Mass., just at the foot of the Berkshires. And they have this really amazing, unique program that actually several Vermont camps have, but I'm pretty sure ours is the oldest and the biggest. And it's a program that allows campers with disabilities to come to sleepaway camp, stay for 2 months, and have the full sleepaway camp experience, which is really special and not very common. So as a camper there, I had the opportunity as one of my electives to spend time every day working with campers with disabilities. And we did a bunch of different things. We did sports, we did music, we did swimming, arts activities. We spent time just hanging out and getting to know each other. So that really was the first step in getting me interested in working and creating spaces that are very inclusive for people with disabilities. And then that experience inspired me to become a volunteer at a program in Newton called Gateways, which I participated in the Sunday program, which was a 2.5-hour program every Sunday during the school year for Jewish students with disabilities in preparation for their bar and bat mitzvahs. So I worked one-on-one with a student for 3 years, helping him learn Hebrew and preparing him to have social interactions in the classroom. So that was an amazing experience, and watching him grow over those 3 years that I was volunteering there was really special. And then the last piece was I was a Dillerton Fellow. It's a program that started in California and is now in several states throughout the U.S. And I think there are 2 programs in Canada. And it is a fellowship that's 1.5 years long for 20 students in each city, sophomores and juniors in high school. And at the end of the program, we were challenged to create it's called a Tikkun Olam project, which in Hebrew, Tikkun Olam means repairing the world. So we had to come up with these project ideas, and at the time I was a dancer. I was doing a lot of work with people with disabilities, and I was thinking, going into my last summer as a camper, that I wanted to do something to give back to the campers who had really made a huge impact on my life. So I formulated the idea for Dance for Empowerment at that point.
Wow, that's amazing. Progression of events there. So what is a day like for the students at Dance for Empowerment?
So it's kind of an interesting setup. So the way I set up Dance for Empowerment, knowing that I was going off to college and wasn't going to be able to be present all the time once I left for school, I created the program as it's more of a lesson plan and a vision and a set of goals, and then programs like Gateways or like Vermont can then use this curriculum, and I work with them to help hire a dance therapist and then work around their schedule to make it fit best with what they are already doing.
Oh, okay. And now when they work with a dance therapist, are they preparing for a choreographed routine that will be presented in a performance, or just dancing skills?
So dance therapy is a little bit different than the normal dance. So it's more focused on helping people who are participating in it, sorry, excuse me, to help them understand their body's movements and be able to feel kind of where the ends of their bodies are, and how to portray their emotions and their feelings through movement. So it's really it's a means of being more aware of your body and emotions.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's kind of like kind of showing different emotions through body movement.
Yeah, yeah, and also something that's common in people with disabilities is lack of nerve endings, so like not being able to feel where the end of their fingertips are or the end of their toes. So it's a lot of touching and moving, so you can feel where your body is and be more self-aware.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Wow, I could see that being very extremely helpful. Now, when did you realize when inside the program doing it that you had something special on your hands? There were a lot of students signing up to attend. Did you start seeing transformations in students? When did it start? When did it hit you that you had something?
Well, I think the first program that we did, which was at Camp Vermont, New England, with the campers in the program, it's called the TICFA program. I think that was really special. I didn't know a lot of the campers who were in the program at the time, but the CITs were also helping out, and they knew the campers very well, and I spoke to a few of them afterwards, and they said that, some campers who never really participate in group activities or prefer to kind of sit outside or sit quietly in a corner, they really participated and they got involved. Even if it was just for 5 or 10 minutes, they were more involved and engaged than they usually were. Also, the response I got from the general community has been truly amazing. There have been a few articles written. You mentioned the Boston Celtics and Channel 7 News. So I think that's what really motivated me and showed me that what I was doing is actually worthwhile and can definitely make an impact for the lives of a lot of people.
Definitely. And what, this might be going back just a little bit, but it seems like a lot of people turn their backs on students with learning disabilities. Not that they don't care, but they just, maybe they themselves don't have a disability, so they, just kind of not help or give back. But what was it about you that propelled you to do the opposite and, create a program and not to choose not to ignore students with disabilities?
I think I've been very fortunate to be part of many communities that have really engaged and included and thought of people with disabilities as equal. My first experience was at Vermont, and there they really tried to foster feelings of inclusion towards everyone. The campers with disabilities aren't, separated. They have their own section of bunks, but it's right in the center of camp. They eat meals with everyone else. They do activities on the same fields as everyone else. So I think that was what really propelled me to think of people with disabilities as equals, as people who should be included in everyday life.
Definitely. Now, I'm a big NBA Boston Celtics fan, and found you on. I saw that your wonderful tribute to your program at the halftime show. You were awarded a Heroes Among Us award at one of their games at halftime. So I was just wondering, were you nervous accepting the award in front of thousands, and what did receiving that award mean to you?
I was definitely nervous. I tripped a lot, so I was really worried that while walking up onto the court, I was going to fall, but luckily I didn't. In that moment, standing in center court when everyone's standing up and applauding, it was surreal and extremely humbling that so many people really cared and were listening and, were really smiling and being like, wow, this is a great idea, and encouraging me. I think that was a huge milestone for me. And then going back to my seat and sitting with my family when people walked by and they recognized me, and just said a short congratulations or that's amazing. I think it really meant so much to me and really propelled me forward to say, I really need to continue doing this no matter where I go, whether I'm going far from home, which I did, or, staying around. I need to continue working towards my goals.
Definitely. Now, in light of your program works with children with learning disabilities, and you say in your mission statement that you help improve their self-esteem. And when I think of self-esteem, I think about the bullying crisis, the cyberbullying going on in our country. There's actually a stat that approximately 282,000 students are bullied each month in high school. And over 50% of those teens are bullied online. And since it's kind of high school is fresh to you, I was wondering, have you seen bullying at your high schools or in high schools? I know Gann Academy is very small, and are there ways to prevent someone from getting bullied?
I think that bullying it's a horrific epidemic that's going on right now. Especially with cyberbullying, all these new techniques. I know there are a few web pages where people can post anonymously, and I think it's so sad and it's so disturbing. Luckily, my high school, as you said, is very small, so it was very community-based. Everyone knew everyone. So luckily, there weren't many incidents of bullying, none specifically that I can remember that stand out to me. I really don't think bullying was too much of an issue for us. But I have heard many stories of online bullying, and I think it really just all starts with, similar to what I'm doing, the idea of inclusion, that everyone is unique and special, has their own things to offer to the community. And I think once you could get all students, young and old, to realize that everyone has their place in a school setting, in a community, that everyone needs to be treated as equals, maybe the bullying will slow down a bit, especially the online bullying, which is just so terrible.
I think you raised a really good point. It's really important to embrace your uniqueness, because if you don't feel like you are unique and can't feel that self-esteem for yourself, then you let those bullies win. And but like Dance for Empowerment, you really kind of just really treat the individual with respect and give them a sense of confidence, so that it's almost like the bullies kind of disappear when you feel better about yourself.
Exactly.
Can you tell us about the future of Dance for Empowerment? I mean, you're a college student now, so you might not have as much time that you want to keep it going, but will you continue this program?
Yes, I plan to continue this program. It was a big decision I made over the summer in preparation to going to school, whether I wanted to take a break, acclimate to college, and then come back to it. But it means so much to me, and it really is important. And it takes two things that I'm extremely passionate about to bring them together. So I've decided to continue working on it. I'm still in transition mode a little bit, but I'm getting back to sending emails regularly. I have a Twitter account for Dance for Empowerment. That's Dance for Empower. That I share information about disabilities and inclusion and great programs that are going on throughout the U.S.
Nice.
So I'm continuing to do that slowly but surely. I'm getting back on track. I secured a $5,000 grant over the summer from Combined Jewish Philanthropies in Boston. So right now I'm working on setting up programs to use that funding. So right now my goals are really just to get a few programs up and running, start planning for some programs that hopefully we'll have in the next year, and then just doing some marketing. Like this podcast, I created a Facebook account this summer for Dance for Empowerment. So I'm building up likes on that page and starting to share information and pictures on there. So I'm just moving forward and continuing to aim for the goals that I've had for the past 2 years.
Oh, that's amazing. Sierra, the bridge from teenage years to young adulthood is exciting. sure, and confusing and daunting in a period in one's life, especially right before college. And we got a lot of teen listeners. I was wondering if you have any piece of advice for someone who's listening, getting ready for college. They're nervous, just not sure if.
Okay. Well, being nervous for college is definitely normal.
Okay.
And I know that I felt very anxious before leaving to school. There are many new things and new experiences you'll have, and really everything will be great, and it will go smoothly, and you'll meet amazing people who want to get to know you and support you. And also, college is a great time to really find yourself and be yourself. If you ever felt in high school that you couldn't fully express who you were, or you were kind of embarrassed about things that made you different, college is a really welcoming and open time where everyone's different. Everyone has their weird little quirks, and it's a great time to just be yourself and let that shine and be proud of exactly who you are.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. Well, thank you, Sierra. Thank you for creating such an empowering program that makes a real difference for students, especially for students with disabilities. You definitely set the bar high for high school seniors all over the world, and we appreciate it. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I feel so honored to be chosen to be on the podcast, and any advice I can give to people who just are in the experiences I just had last year, I'm so happy to talk to them and help them.
Oh, that's really amazing of you. Thank you so much. So this wraps up our show today with founder and president of nonprofit Dance for Empowerment, Sierra Weiss. And to learn more about the amazing work Sierra does for students with disabilities, please visit www.dance4empowerment.com, www.dance4empowerment.com. And I'm on her Twitter page now, and she has a lot of amazing information there, and the Twitter handle there is Dance4Empower. Thank you for joining us on Prep and Polish Education and Inspiration.